This video is sponsored by Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. The new difficulty Honor Mode added to Baldur's Gate 3 offers one of the most challenging modes possible in the base game, and if you're newer to the series, this can be a particularly poignant challenge. In this video today, I want to go over some quick tips to help break down the difficulty of Honor Mode so that you can get your coveted golden D20 dice skin, the prize for beating an Honor Mode playthrough. If you don't know how that mode works, basically it's an Iron Man single save game mode. You can't save scum, and if your entire party dies, then the game reverts to a custom rule set, and you have failed your Honor Mode playthrough. You can keep playing, but you just can't get your dice skin. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge of my videos so you can decide if it's the right one for you. So with that being said, you can find the entire list of what I'll be covering in the timeline in the description. Take a look at those chapters and simply navigate to what interests you the most, or maybe you know everything I'm going to bring up, in which case just simply shut the video down. What I will say though is that the biggest takeaway from this video is that all you need to do to beat Honor or Tactician mode is have a proper action economy. Meaning you line up your primary and bonus actions to maximize the amount of damage each character can do. Do you have a monk that can knock things prone as their bonus action? Well, if you do that first, then every other character's primary action, that monk included, will benefit towards the damage of the target you've just knocked prone, assuming they're within 10 feet. And that's really the entire gist of what we'll be covering. So if you are heading out, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Each one of those things does help me out in a huge way. I've gone from 89% to 80% unsubscribed viewership because of your help, but that's a number I'd still like to get lower, and every little bit helps. If you need help with any other subject in Baldur's Gate 3, check out my playlist linked below and at the end of the video, but let's get started here on how to beat Honor Mode in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, before we get started with our video, we have a brief advertisement for the next exciting installment in the Yakuza series. Only this time, we're headed over to Hawaii. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth delivers a lot of hard-hitting features that any RPG fan would be enthralled with. If you've played any of the more recent RPGs to date, you're familiar with a freedom of movement and live combat system that Like a Dragon runs wild with, layering in a fun AoE attacks as well as a bevy of other features linked to the new combat system. Stay tuned for the full ad with Drewski in it, but Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth launches January 26th, 2024 on PlayStation, Xbox, Windows, and Steam. Pre-order now and get the Heroes Booster Pack and Special Job Set before it's too late. For more information, visit infinitewealth.sega.com, linked in the description below.
Welcome to paradise.
Aloha! All right! I can show you around now. But there's a few things you need to learn before we have a good time.
You can have a little fun with some friends. And even pick up a new skill. Whatever you do, be careful. Even paradise can have its secrets.
You trying to tell me there are Yakuza in Hawaii? Not exactly something you'd find in a guidebook, is it?
Keep your friends close. And your enemies closer.
Name's Dwight.
Nice to meet you.
Take cover!
Switching over to the game, let's talk about the first thing, and it's discounts at specific vendors. So the way vendors work is that you can get discounts from them based off of your charisma, your persuasion, and their attitude towards you. The big thing here is we want to kind of game this system because in Honor Mode, it can be kind of risky to just steal everything that you see in front of you to maximize your profit, because you might accidentally cause a big fight that ends your playthrough. So what we're going to do here is we've gone to Withers and we've respec'd our character down to level 1. That's a crucial part of this. And we're taking our character with their highest charisma and a character that is proficient in persuasion, like I said. So we're going to come over here now to Damon, and this works on vendors that are going to be present throughout the majority of the game, or vendors that you have specific items that you need for maybe a build. Damon would be a good example if you don't attack the Emerald Grove. Dareth in the Myconid Colony would be another really good example of a character that is just present throughout a lot of the game. Now, you don't need to buy things from them, but really what they can do is be a character that you sell stuff to. Now, you don't need to do this with gold. You can do this with items but you basically just want to donate to them 400 gold worth of items or actual gold. And you'll see right now we have a 25% discount because of persuasion plus 5. So I'm just going to do this as is. It'll say, hey, do you want to donate this? And we'll press yes. So this puts their attitude at 100 and a discount of 67%. And it's not a straight flat 67% off the price of an item, but basically it's off like the market value. So take, for example, this hand crossbow. Now with Will, it is valued at 98 gold. And I can swap to other characters and it'll be valued at the same amount. But if I restart this conversation with, say, my main character, and we go ahead and press trade, now you see that discount drops to 0, and this went from 98 gold to 163. So you would just pretty much use that same character to initiate these trades and everything, but this is a really great way to get good discounts on items and have your items sell for a little bit more when you're dealing with stuff in honor mode. As a big point of clarification, this character that I'm using is not an honor mode save, but this will work on honor mode. Because of the nature of content creation, it's hard to do this on an honor mode character where I cannot save scum and reshoot if I mess up something. So just want to be transparent about that. But this is a really good thing that you should be doing here with this, all the vendors that you're initially going to come into in the game. Maybe you go into Moonrise Towers and you see the same thing. It's a really, really crucial little bit of information. Sticking with our theme of vendors, we're going to talk about vendor inventory. Now, in this exact example, we don't have a really cool vendor to show off because I killed the crap out of Anti-Ethel. But every time you long rest or every time you level up, all the vendors' inventories will rotate. They'll swap, we'll put new items in, stuff like that. So why this is important, it's going to get to another item we're going to talk about. It is doing all this stuff. All of these items here that you get for crafting potions is really crucial because you can basically game the system by resetting one of your characters to level 1 or using a hireling and just leveling them up. So now, you know what? I just need a bunch of potion materials. The big thing here is looking for Fingers of Cloud Giant or Hill Giant strength. Because you can make those respective elixirs for, say, a throwing barbarian, a tavern brawling monk, anyone that would use strength as their primary damage. You'd be able to really pull a lot of benefit from this by getting those elixirs. But since we won't be able to get those fingers from this character, let me just show you. So we'll take Balsam here because that's going to give us, we'll just buy all of this for the sake of the video. And now this character is out of all their materials. This button shows ingredients. And now we'll end this, we'll level up, and I'm just going to skip right through this and press accept. And we'll skip this, come back to the vendor.
Need anything else?
And if we click ingredients again, we can see that they've now recycled all their ingredients. So if you're looking for those Fingers of Cloud Giant or Hill Giant strength, this is just a really great way to do this. You can do this with Anti-Ethel, who sells both the actual potions and occasionally fingers after level 6. Dareth in the Myconid colony, as well as the Bugbear, whatever, the guy of the League of Extreme Brilliance and Excellence, whatever it's called, the Myconid colony as well, will all sell fingers that you can do this for in Act 1. So you can stock yourself up with plenty of those potions coming into the later acts until you can actually buy them directly in Act 3. But what do you do with all these ingredients? How do you make this work? Now that we know how to reset that inventory, how can we really game that? And I've gone through this before in its own video, but using hirelings, especially ones that are dedicated herbalists, is absolutely crucial. So go ahead and come over to Withers, go, I would like to talk about hirelings, and recruit one. Now for our herbalist, this is going to be a transmutation wizard that also has levels into rogue that will help us with, bard or rogue, doesn't matter, with proficiency into herbalism. So we're going to go with Brinna Brightsong because she is a Lightfoot halfling, which will give us access to the halfling capability to re-roll 1s. This is crucial because this ensures that we will get our alchemy to kick off. So let me show you how this works. We're going to press venture forth and we're going to click on this character. We're going to go back to Withers and we're going to say, can you help me change my class? And we're going to change this character to a wizard. And their abilities, we don't care about any ability on this character. We just want as much wisdom as possible because wisdom is going to give us an increase to this skill that we need, which is medicine. So basically, whenever we go to do a alchemy concoction creation, an elixir, a potion, anything like that, it'll do a medicine check. It's DC 15 medicine check. And if we pass the medicine check, then we don't make one of the potions or whatever, we make two, we double it, which is a really awesome feat, and it's crucial for this type of character. So once we've done this, I'm just going to put another point somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. And spells, doesn't really matter here either. So we'll confirm this. We're going to level up again, and we need to get to transmutation. This is what allows us to do the DC 15 medicine check. Sorry, a little bit ago I made it sound like it's the actual medicine skill. It's experimental alchemy from the transmutation subclass of the wizard. That's the crucial part. So we do this, and again, doesn't really matter on these spells. Just choose whatever and press accept. And now we're going to switch off of wizard. You could do rogue. We'll just do rogue because it's probably pretty easy. And we're going to get a skill proficiency. And then we're going to skill expertise. So what we're going to do is press this little box. Now we have a +7 to our medicine checks. And you can, after that, click whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. We just wanted that medicine. And you can jump this over to Bard as well to further increase a lot of this action. But now if you kind of look over here, we've got this experimental alchemy with the DC 15 medicine check and that halfling luck. When you roll a 1 on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. And with proficiency in medicine, we're going to get our proficiency bonus. Remember that starts at 2, then becomes 3, then becomes +4. I'm just gonna press accept on some of these to push our character level up, which will thusly increase our proficiency bonus. So I'm just going to do this a couple more times, all the way up to level 9. And again, I know that there's probably more min-max ways to do this, but we're just going ahead and doing this for the sake of the video to push you through, to show you this really quick. We're getting to level 9, which can show you. See, right now our medicine's at a +6. And there we go. Now, since we're at a character level of 9, our proficiency bonus will be +4. Let's go ahead and show that off. Go ahead and press I. And we come over here and we can see that if we look at medicine, it's a +11 because our proficiency bonus is a +4. But how do we game this further? Because we can. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go all the way over to Shadowheart, our cleric. And we're going to have Shadowheart cast Enhance Ability. Now, if you have the Guidance Necklace, you would cast that as well. But we're going to do Enhance Ability Wisdom. Advantage on Wisdom checks, which these are all Wisdom checks we're about to do. And she has that. We can't, unfortunately, cast Guidance because we've casted one. We've already casted that Enhance Ability. But we come back to Brenna. We press H on the PC to bring up our Alchemy tab. We go to Extract All Ingredients. Go to Elixirs. Let's go ahead and choose Hill Giant, or Cloud Giant. That's a famous one, right? We'll bring up the dialog box over here. And we'll press Craft Item. So we succeeded our medicine check. And we not only did we make 1, but we made 2 elixirs of Cloud Giant Strength. So that's why this is such an important thing in the game, because we can do this with the Elixir of Viciousness. The Bloodlust, do I have it on here? There it is, Elixir of Bloodlust. And we're succeeding all these medicine checks with not a whole ton of investment of min-maxing this character. You can do even more things to make sure they almost always kick off. And with that, we now have 2 for the price of 1 set of ingredients. Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, increasing your strength to 27. Elixir of Viciousness, crit hits is reduced by 1 as far as the number that needs to be rolled. Or Bloodlust, gain temp 5 hit points and an additional action. On Honor mode, you only get 1 additional attack, not a whole additional action when it comes to attacks. So be careful on that. But this is a really crucial character you need to have in your camp that you leverage every so often when you're playing Honor mode. With all that hireling, all that respecking, all those things that we're going to be doing through Withers, and how I've talked about vendoring in Honor mode is difficult, right? Because things are just so much more expensive. Things have increased rarity from maybe it was a green before to now being a blue or a purple, whatever it is. And you don't really want to throw that money away. So as long as you haven't done a long rest, any money that you spend at Withers, you can just freely get back. What you'll need to do is you'll come up behind him, go into crouch, and pickpocket. So this is all the money that we've stolen from Withers. We can just go ahead and just keep doing it. I'm going to do this infinitely. He's not going to get mad. It's not going to matter. Even on honor mode, explorer mode, it won't matter. This is a trick that you can use forever. Now, this is a huge stack of gold, so this is going to be a little tedious. It's going to take me time to do it. But you just have to simply do this until you actually get it. Now, of course, you could probably do it on a character that actually has sleight of hand, and it would be way quicker, but I don't have one in this little instance here. So just to show you that you don't even need sleight of hand, and you can still get all of your gold back from Withers with all the little tricks that we've talked about here today. Now, when it comes to the actual combat of the game, one of the biggest things that you're going to deal with is the boss fights. Legendary actions add a whole level of difficulty into the game. And what you should be doing is, before you jump into these larger boss fights, taking time to prepare. Look into what elixirs you can bring for your characters. Look into maybe what that legendary action is by looking online first. You can usually see what the legendary action is by seeing the boss ahead of time, or if it's a boss that needs a conversation before the boss fight starts, you can inspect and see them, stuff like that. But preparation is really big in honor mode. The more time you spend prepping, probably the easier the fight's going to be, but the more guarantee that you are not going to end up screwing yourself over and losing the playthrough because you just ran into a boss fight. So this is all from a stream, obviously, but and sped up. But this boss fight took a good amount of prep beforehand, and it's going to come down to just a handful of rounds of me throwing spears over at Grimskull here. But honestly, it really came down to probably like a 30-minute segment of me prepping every single elixir, make sure I had the right items, making sure that I had the right things lined up, or doing the right type of damage to the character or the boss to ensure that I actually did damage and not just hitting into some resistance or immunity. That's the big thing with honor mode, is prepping and making sure that that action economy we talked about at the beginning of the video really comes to fruition. Now, with all that prep, there does come situations where maybe you're in a bad spot and you need to get out of it. What matters in an honor mode is a total party kill, or a TPK as it is commonly known. So what you need to do is have some sort of escape plan. Have a character that can use Misty Step, have a character that can get out of a hard bind, or a series of them, so that when things really start to not look good, maybe your main damage character here, like Lae'zel, is in a hold person scenario, and your other two characters are really beat up, and you're like, man, one wrong turn and this is really not going to go well, and there's just the odds are stacked against me. In this scenario, the odds are not stacked against me. But what we've done here with my one character is that we've gotten them just about 90 feet away. And this is what you should really do. You probably never used this in the previous difficulties because you probably never encountered anything like this. But using flee combat is a huge way to get a lot of value out of getting out of a bad situation, because you don't want to end your honor mode playthrough. Even further, if you jump into, like, say, a boss fight, you could just straight up keep one of your characters in the camp at all times, breaking the party up like this, and have one of these characters in the camp, and if the other three die, that one's there and just goes to Withers and resurrects them all. You're fine. So what we would need to do with this character is we need to move it 4 more feet away, right? So all we got to do is move over here, and we can press this. So now this character's out of the fight. It doesn't matter what happens now back at the fight, because one character's at home that they can go to Withers and resurrect them. They can go back to where the fight location was and resurrect them if it's safe, whatever the scenario is. But having an escape plan, again, either by a character that has a bunch of cunning action. Here, we'll do this. We'll do cunning action, run. We'll run all the way over here. We got a really good distance away. And we'll do it again. I think we can, yeah, we're still further away. We'll do another dash. And we're out of this. Boom. So now we've got 2 characters that are safe. Shadowheart, I don't think has any shadow step movement right now, but it completely pulls them out of combat. You can get this character now as far out as they can, and again, you know, we don't have shadow step, but my point, Misty Step, I can't even say shadow step like 5 times. My point remains here, though, that just getting out of fights in honor mode, once you're gonna lose, is the better play than seeing if you can stick it out. Yeah, sure, maybe you'll be able to pull out an ace in the hole, but you're better off not relying on it and just keeping your playthrough alive. After a big fight, one of the important things is healing outside of combat. Of course, you can rest, you can use healing spells, but really it comes down to healing potions. And if you have got that Herbalist in your camp, like we've talked about before, you should have tons of healing potions available to you. You can see all the healing I have on this character. I've got plenty of chances to go back and make even more. But what you can do to maximize this are a number of things. For one, in the Mountain Pass is the Periopt of Wound Closure. Maximize the number of hit points restored. So basically what I would do is transfer this to any character that needs to restore a little bit of health. So let's look at my main one. I'm going to go ahead and swap this. There we go. And I'm just going to quaff a healing potion. Now healing says it does 4 to 10. Well, it's going to do 10 because we have that up, right? We went from 40 to now 50 out of 59 total health. And maybe, you know, you skipped out on this and you don't have it, or you didn't do the Mountain Pass yet, whatever it is. Another really good thing to do is get everyone nice and tight, close together. Do a little hug circle over here. Get a character. Press throw. And throw any number of the junk in your backpack. This is my actual honor save, so I gotta be kind of careful here. So we'll go ahead and do... We'll drink it on accident and ruin the whole video, but we'll throw this, and you can see that it's going to hit pretty much everyone if I get it actually done right here. Pressing O if you're on PC can help out to really kind of make this really work. You just got to kind of make everyone get into a nice little tight circle, and we will go with right click, throw. That's going to hit just about everyone. Maybe miss someone here or there. But you get the point. You throw it. We spread as much healing as we can by throwing that healing potion at a group. Rather than simply just saying, hey, one person's going to use healing potions until they're at max. This will allow you to use that one healing potion to heal everyone a different amount, but still, nonetheless, you'll be able to get more value out of one healing potion than just simply doing individuals. And that's a really big portion of this, because one hit point might be the difference between that character being out of the fight and not out of the fight. And in honor mode, I just don't mess around. Everything needs to be at max health when I'm jumping into hard to fight fights. Another big thing to have in mind when it comes to your builds for honor mode is trying to choose builds that aren't reliant on maybe specific items or are not reliant on specific things occurring within the game. Take the Hag's Hair, for example. Not making your build around that is pretty crucial because you don't know if you're going to actually successfully go through that situation. Or the Mirror of Loss in Act 3, don't make a build reliant upon it because you don't know if it's actually going to occur. I think minor itemification, is that a word? Itemization is okay to do, right? Like the Returning Pike is a pretty reliable thing to get. Anything that drops off of vendors is a pretty reliable thing to do with your build. But by and large, these characters, I mean, this is a bard lock, and yeah, I happen to have the potent robe, but this character would also be very strong without the potent robe. In fact, it's very strong with it and without it. An open hand monk is super strong with all of the items that increase their damage, with say the wisdom modifier boots or unarmed attack items that are littered throughout the game, but there isn't one set item that really can that you need to have in this build. There are some that are really nice to have. Or right over here, we have a Gloomstalker Rogue, or Gloomstalker Assassin. This is a build that is really amazing on its own, and you could just simply use 2 hand crossbows for the entirety of it. There are items that simply make it better. And another one here is our Throwing Barbarian. So these are examples of 4 builds that are extremely strong. Items make them far better, of course, but really the only reliance I need outside of those about the build itself is maybe like a potion for this open hand monk, because I've taken a very specific route with their stats, right? The Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength sets my strength to 27, so Tavern Brawler now does 6 plus 16 to my unarmed weapon attacks. So keep these things in mind when it comes to builds. Try to choose builds that make sense, but also ones that are not going to fall flat because you weren't able to itemize them out in a certain way because you took a very specific path through the game forced upon you by the lack of ability to save scum certain roles. Just think of your builds a little bit, just like we talked about preparing for boss battles. Prepare for the actual game mode by looking at builds that are going to be strong on their own, not strong through a ton of itemization. One of my closing points here, though, is to try to exploit as many little things as you can. Try to kind of forsake the RP of the game if this is your first honor mode, to try and break it. The game is really stacked against you and you cannot save scum. So try to do every little thing that you can. So take Asterion, for example, here. I'm going to come up to a character that's one of my hirelings in the camp. This could even be my my herbalist. I'm going to use his vampire bite on this character. Okay, so now he's happy. He gets his +1 to all attack rolls, saving throws, and most ability checks. And this character has that penalty against them. Perfect. Works just fine for me. Or take, for example, the potion that you can get in Act 2 Moonrise Towers. Permanently increases your strength by 2. So I can now put this on one of my throwing characters in lieu of the elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, and then that character can now use an elixir of Bloodlust. So think of these things as super effective, exploity ways to play the game, because maybe Asterion hates when you do this, and I want to kind of build the character out like that, or not like that, or I want to do his storyline, but at the same time, I want to win honor mode. So try these little tiny things that kind of, you overlap them, and yeah, maybe that works there, that doesn't work there, but you're trying to get the most out of every little single thing to maximize what you do. So now, you know, if I put this thing on Karlach, I don't have to use Cloud Giant Strength. Now I can use Bloodlust because I have 20 Strength. So all these little things are going to kind of be the thing that helps you tip over in honor mode. The last thing I want to bring up now is your action economy. We've talked about it so many times, but really it's making sure that your primary actions and your bonus actions fall in a way that makes the most sense for what you're doing. So take, for example, now I've got all 4 of these characters that can go, and I should really kind of think about what I've got going for me, right? Can I trip things? Okay, well, I can right here, and that knocks them prone, right? Which we talked about. And prone, attacks against a prone creature have an advantage if they're made within 10 feet of the creature. Or, you know what, let's click on Shadowheart. She's got blindness. Blind a creature. What does blind do? Attack rolls against it have advantage, and the foe attacks with disadvantage. Awesome. Or if I had hold person up. Hold a humanoid enemy still, they can't move or act. Attacks from within 10 feet are always crit hits. So getting these kind of status effects down first are really crucial ways to get most out of every single action you're doing, especially too if it's like a bonus action, right? So let's take Karlach, for example. Karlach, I've respect over here to a monk, and all the characters I talked about, well, all their really great abilities are primary actions. Well, you know what? She has Topple, which knocks things prone. Kill this guy outright, actually. We're going to find out right now. Let's see if we can knock this guy prone. Well, we knocked him prone. And just so happens we missed all of our attacks, which is kind of cool for the sake of this video. And we did that with just our bonus action. So now with our primary action, we can go ahead and go to town. Everything else has advantage against this target. Boom. There we go. Got a big hit right there. I can take my other character now and swing his sword. All right, we got a really big hit. It critted them. But it's just really a matter of layering these things and not looking at every single character you use in sequence, in the sense that, okay, I've got Shadowheart. I'm going to use her action and her bonus action and then click the next character. No, just use an action at a time per character as it fits to line up your other characters. That is the crucial thing here, right? Let me see here. That's the blast one. Let me see if I can get another cool one off. Get a stun. Stun, though, just kind of prevents them from doing anything, but still. All right, we just punched the back of her head super hard, right? But maybe I go ahead and use Karlach, or I'm sorry, Shadowheart here. And we'll use blindness on this character. Saved, unfortunately, right? Well, maybe switch to another one. This character can knock things prone by doing a lunging bite. Oh, cool, we knocked it prone. Now I can really leverage anyone who's within 10 feet of this to do some fun additional damage. So right now, you know, we get this guy over here, have him go attack, do damage to a creature that is prone. So just have these little things in mind. Don't think, again, sequentially. It's got to go one character, all their actions, bonus actions, everything they can do. No, use your characters to line up your other characters for the most damage possible, the more survivability possible, whatever it is. Another good example, too, would have been, hey, you know what? Karlach's in a bind, or I know this character, I don't want them to get attacked. I'm going to throw this summon haphazardly over here. to force opportunity attacks and lock that creature down. Use your characters, your summons, your whatever it is to keep other things from going across the battlefield so you can maximize every single movement point, action, bonus action, whatever the hell it is in honor mode, because it is going to be crucial. And at that, it brings our video here to a close. So hopefully this helps you out in cracking into the difficulty of honor mode. I think honor mode is scary, you know, because you can't you can't save scum. And that's something that's kind of spooky if you're not really 100% comfortable with Baldur's Gate 3, its rule set of D&D and all that action. But I think that it's an extremely rewarding playstyle because everything is so intense. Even just general conversations, you're not sure how they're going to go because you maybe want a certain item from it or certain whatever from it. I strongly encourage you to do it. And I think too, just like playing maybe a Dark Souls game, the journey is in losing, is in dying, is in failing, where you kind of learn, okay, that's how I'm really supposed to approach things. This is how I'm gonna do stuff. I mean, Dark Souls is a very challenging game series, right? But it makes you a better gamer because you learn how to economize what you're doing or how you approach certain stuff. And that is the same thing here of honor mode in Baldur's Gate 3. Once you learn how to get the most out of everything you're doing, you start to trivialize a lot of the harder stuff because you've spent so much time prepping for it, or you understand how those actions are going to play out, or what a status effect that you can throw onto something that is going to make the rest of your characters do all the damage, whatever it is. If you have any other tips for honor mode, let it be known in the comment section below. There is some other cheesier stuff I didn't go into, like, you know, crashing the game if you do mess up. I figure it's not honorable to go over that. Maybe may or may not have done it in my stream once or twice. Who knows? I can't confirm neither here nor there. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.